Hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever Halloween special, which is evident by our singular Halloween pumpkin decoration on screen. We'll probably even throw in other various spooky objects in post. In fact, word to the editors, please make me a pirate. I always wanted to be a pirate. But as I was saying, this is our first Halloween special with your host, me. To start off, we actually have a very special guest appearance from none other than Jon Snow's ghost. It's nice to finally have you on, Jon's ghost.
And it's really nice to be on here, George.
Are you okay? You don't sound like your usual self, Jon. I mean, you kind of just sound like a poor imitation of Jon Snow, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just have a really sore throat, which would be a really convenient excuse for someone doing a horrible impression, which is definitely not the case.
Oh, well, I hope you get better soon. Now, on to the real questions. So, Jon's ghost, I think I speak for everyone when I ask, what does it feel like being a ghost?
Well, George, to be quite honest and upfront, I pretty much know nothing about being a ghost, because I'm actually Kit Harington and not Jon Snow, as he's a fictional character. So I'd like to clarify that I'm definitely still alive and well.
Well, that was both surprising and disappointing at the same time. And it also looks like we're out of time for this segment. Thanks for joining us this evening, Jon's Kit.
It was a pleasure being on here, George.
And it was a pleasure having you, son.
Did you just call me son?
You're coming with us.
Wait! Don't take
And
me
for
away,
our next
I have to
segment,
know!
I'm going to be telling a true scary story that happened to me. Let me go ahead and get into my scary story voice. It was a dark and stormy summer evening, and I had just finished writing off the character Stannis for various reasons. That evening, I had decided to kick back on my dragon skin couch, which isn't actually made of dragon skin because dragons don't exist, and play my favorite RPG, nay, my favorite video game of all time, Paper Mario: The 1,000-Year Door. I, of course, named my file after my favorite character from my own franchise, Unnamed Soldier 2. He doesn't really have any character development, but he may have some in the next book. Unfortunately, this heavenly session of the 1,000-Year Door was cut short, as I was to attend a meeting with David and Dan where we were to discuss a certain episode that was to be filmed in the coming weeks. To make matters even more vexatious, I was late to this meeting. Which doesn't really matter anyways, because I'm George R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones has to work around my schedule. On my way out, I was stopped by my family butler of 15 years, Bartholomew Jaquam Hernandez, who also happens to be my audio editor for this channel. He's a good and loyal butler, and I consider him as a sort of father figure, although there was that one time where he bamboozled me out of a bet, and that other time where he totally stole my money and bought several pounds of Mary Jane, then proceeded to not share said Mary Jane. You know, I take back what I just said. He's an
Amazing person.
And I hope he didn't just edit out what I said and replaced it with something to benefit his own image, because I said he's an absolute
Astounding gentleman.
Anyways, my butler stopped me just as I was about to leave and said, "Georgie, my boy." That's how he says my name. He said, "Georgie, my boy, David and Dan called. They canceled the meeting." And I said, "Seriously? What the hell, man? You could have just told me before I got up and walked a whole 10 feet out of my warm lounge." And he said, "Chill out, dude." And I said, "You're right. I overreacted. I'm sorry." And then we hugged it out, because that's how bros do it, you know? Even though I already said he was a father figure rather than a brother, but whatever. We aren't here for continuity. We're here for the scares. After the bro father hug was complete, I decided to head back to my lounge so I could game it some more. However, upon entering the room, a strange and immediate sense of dread washed over me. The room's atmosphere had completely shifted, and because of this, I was quite uneasy to say the least. With quivering steps, I made my way back to the couch and television. As I neared my destination, the light from my television wrapped around my body, and I smiled in relief as the very thought of what fun would be had in just a few moments swallowed the looming inexplicable fear that had somehow nested itself within me. But this blissful feeling was short-lived, as I quickly realized that something was not right. There was absolutely no sound coming from my television, and I knew that I hadn't muted it before I left the room. Swiftly, in a nearly panicked state, I clicked the mute toggle button, but nothing happened. My attention was then drawn to my Super Smash Bros. Edition GameCube controller. I slowly picked it up and tried to move Mario with the analog stick. Nothing. It was pretty obvious to me at this point that my GameCube had frozen. Naturally, I tried to reboot the game, but upon trying to start my save file, I was met with the realization that my save file had been corrupted. 93 hours gone in a single night. Well, I hope you enjoyed my scary story, because that concludes our Halloween special for the night. Thanks for watching, and have a happy Halloween. If you'll excuse me, I'm going to go cry in a corner now over my lost save file. Good night.